Hello everyone. Today we're going to create water material. So first I'm going to delete this floor. I'm going to select this all the assets. I'm going to push this outside. Go to landscape and set the landscape section size to 127 quads and hit create. I'm going to create a landscape material for this landscape. I suggest you to go a big game marketplace. There is a free asset which is available. You can download them and you can add it to your project by clicking to project. It's completely free. So once you add it, you can go to the content drawer. There is a folder called STF. So you can open up this STF and double click, go to environment, landscape, landscape, version 2. So version 2 I'm going to, so right click, create a material instance. Okay, you can create a material instance. I'm going to give a name, water environment. Just give a name. Okay. And I have created a folder. So yeah, center. And you can click and drag, drop into the folder, water tutorial. So move here. So I have this. So I'm going to select this material and select the landscape. I'm going to assign landscape material. So once you apply, go to landscape. I'm going to sculpt. Before that, go to paint. The paint layer. I'm going to create a layer info by clicking on the plus and select this weighted blank. I'm going to leave the name as it is. Now you can see we have the landscape material with auto generator foliage. Next, I'm going to go to the tab sculpt, select the sculpt and set the tool strength to 0.18. Hold shift and click and drag. You can able to push the landscape down. Okay. Fine. Then I'm going to set up the noise. Noise scale, I will make it about 30 or 25, 20 or 25. So it create noise. So actually you can smooth in the center. So there I'm going to create a water in the center. So I'm smoothing the center. Increase the tool strength. Okay, you can see I have created the landscape something like this. Smooth. Yeah, looking good. Let's go back to selection. Now you can see the rock tiling is looking very small. So you can go to content drawer, go to the folder, open up the material. So inside the material instance, scroll down all the way down to triplanar mapping. And here, first I'm going to adjust the triplanar rock texture scale. So I'm going to make 2500. Okay. And I'm going to change this detail also 2000. It's fine. I can't give 3000. Okay, fine. Close it. Now I'm going to create a plane. So click odd shapes plane and I'm going to reset the position. Increase the size to 300. This down. I think it is too much. So we'll make 200. It works. Okay, looking good. Now you can see this. And this is going to be the water. So for water material, I'm going to create a right click, new material, em underscore. Okay. So double click to open and click and drag and dock into the cell. Okay. To create a water material, you have to first select the material, change the shading model to single layer water. Now you can see there is an error warning. In order to make a single layer water, you have to create the single layer water material output. So if I right click, type single layer water material output, which is independent uh, because we're not going to use this color. This color is going to define by this, and the opacity also it's going to define by this. So you can see there is a scattering coefficient, absorption coefficient, and phase and behind water. So first, for this, I'm going to define by color. I'm going to create a 3 vector by holding 3 on the keyboard and left click. That creates a 3 vector. I'm going to convert this into parameter. I'm going to call this name sc underscore color. By default, I'm going to set this color to white and save. Then I'm going to use color and intensity also. So I have to increase the intensity of scattering coefficient. So use multiply node to create a intensity. Hold M or right click, you can search multiply. Hold M and left click, connect to A. Right click on the B, promote to parameter. Going to give name SC intensity. Okay, so I'm going to leave the default value to 0. Next, I'm going to create a divide node. Divide node, we use it most of the time for blur or fading out kind of effect. So hold D and left click. You can create a divide node. Connect this into A. The B, I'm going to right click, promote to parameter. I'm going to call this SC fade. Okay. Then I'm going to connect this into scattering coefficient. Okay. So next I'm going to duplicate the whole thing. Control D. So same network, I'm going to use it for absorption coefficients. So I'm going to rename this all parameters which I have created. So AC, F2, AC. Connect this into this. Okay, good. Next, color scale behind water. I'm not going to use fade, so I can use only this multiply. Control D, select this. If you want, you can duplicate this also, but for this it is not necessary. F2, I'm going to go BH behind F2 BH. Connect this into the color beginning. That's all. So we have created the color. If I save this and I'm going to apply to this. So first you have to right click on the material, create material instance, and apply this instant to the. Now you can see here we have the color dark and white. Doesn't looks good, but you can open up this material instance. You can see we have all the parameter nodes are available that you can adjust, but you see that the attributes are not in order. So I have to reorder the attribute. I have to organize this properly so that I can use it properly. So let's go to the material. First, I'm going to select this SC parameters. I'm going to put it in a group called, we give 01 underscore SC. 01 because the parameter order will be defined by alphabetical order. So if I give 01, this will appear in the first group. So this I'm going to put this into 02 second group AC. Okay, select them all and select this to going to make 03 underscore BH. Now with this groups, if I save this and you can check out this parameter, we have separate groups for each parameter groups. Now let's open up this all. So first I'm going to enable this SC color and intensity. I'm going to change the color to blue, for example. Okay, I'm going to increase the intensity. Okay, and I'm going to increase the fade. You have to give fade about 100 or something. We don't see any different now because we have to define opacity. So for opacity, roughness and specular, I'm going to create a parameter. So right click on the specular, promote to parameter. I'm going to leave the name specular. The specular value always I use 0.5. Fine. For roughness, right click, promote to parameter. Roughness value I like to leave 0. And opacity, right click, promote to parameter, leave it 0. And save this. Now you can see, you start seeing this color. It reduces intensity. You see how nicely the color is fading according to the depth. This fade, if I reduce it, it makes sharp blend. So this is nice. Okay. So then AC. Okay. I'm going to increase this. So immediately you can see that looks black because it gives us some metallic. And if I increase this to about and reduce 200 something, and you can change the color of this also. This is really important. AC, absorption coefficient, you have to give a negative color, which means if you are going to give blue, you have to choose this yellow. See, right now it's yellow, but you can see if I choose blue That defines some orange color tint. You can see here I have given this pink color, but you can see the green, that opposite color will appears in this. I'm going to choose somewhere around this. Okay, look at this. And okay, you can increase the intensity and reduce the intensity, and you can modify the. Okay. The cool thing is the behind watercolor. So if I enable this, if I increase this, and you start seeing the brightness in the edge here. If I see wherever uh, you have the water behind, the color can change this. So sometimes something like this, but I'm going to leave this. Okay, you can see here you get a nice smooth blend is happening. You can control the things according to the project. Okay, you can see this. Nice. Then I want to create ripples and water waves. I want to create. To create a wave, I have to use normal map. So I want to create some ripples on the water. And I'm going to put this all these things into new group. Okay, open up the water material. I'm going to select this specular roughness and everything. And the group, I'm going to call this PBR. Okay. So I just want to organize this little bit. Select them all. Just move out. I'm going to press C on the keyboard. Going to call this single water. Call it watercolor. Why not? And with this command selected, so change the command color to blue. It's going to command this C PBR. Going to give it name. Okay, set up the color. Okay. Next, I'm going to create a normal map. To get a normal map, go to content drawer. Go to settings, enable show engine content and plugin content. There are some few texts available in the engine content. Select engine, search water, and choose only texture. Enable this filter, and you can able to see that there are some few normal maps are available. So let's use this texture, and I'm going to use this texture as well. So I'm going to use two different textures to create the waves. So let's connect this into normal. Okay, directly if I connect this into the normal, and you can able to see the depth. You can see that looks really big. I want to adjust the time of this water. So go to water material, and there is an option U tiling and V tiling. You can able to edit this, but I'm going to control this UV tiling through parameter node. So hold M for multiply node and left click, connect into the multiply. Then the B, right click on the B, promote to parameter. I'm going to give name normal underscore A title, because I'm going to create two different normals. So connect this multiply into this. The default value, I'll give 4. Okay, save it. Now you can able to see the waves. If you open up this instant, and now you can see there is a normal A tiling. If I increase it, you can set up how big you want the normal textures to be. Okay, but you can see the normal intensity is too much, so we have to reduce the intensity. So you go to water material. There is a material function called normal strength. So you can right click, search normal strength, WS workspace. Take this normal output into this. For the strength, I'm going to create a parameter. So right click, promote to parameter, call this normal A intensity or strength, you can call it. By default, I leave this 1. Connect this into normal. Save this material. Now, if I enable this normal A intensity, I'm going to reduce it, and you can see the normal intensity we have reduced. Next, I want to adjust. I want to animate this water texture. This normal. So to animate this, we're going to animate in the UV coordinate actually. So to animate, there is a node called panner. Panner, if you right click, type panner, and you see this is have a coordinate, you have a speed x, y. So take this multiply and connect into the coordinate. This output goes to UV. In the panner node, I'm going to set 0.1 on x. Save. Now you can see the animation is happening already. Save it. Now you see the water is moving on the x direction. But I want to control this animation interactively using a parameter node. So I don't want to, animate directly in the material. If you right click and create a parameter, what happens is this will affect both x and y because the speed is a 2 vector. Okay, but we have connected a one single scalar parameter, so that will affect both x and y simultaneously. So what will happen if I go and I see there is a speed. If I increase it, it's moving on x and y, so we can't control this individually x and y. So to do that, so because I want to use different direction for this normal, I want to use a different direction for this normal. So disconnect this, holding alt and disconnect the speed, and I'm going to create another parameter, two parameters, which is going to define x and y. The first one I'm going to rename normal A underscore A x speed. Okay, and Control A, copy this name. I'm going to paste it here. F2, Control V. Actually, Y speed. Just give a, okay. So both I have to combine them. So we have a two scalar parameter. I have to combine and I have to connect into the two vector node. So to do this, you can use append vector. Append vector will combine two vectors, and that gives one single output. So this, using this, we can able to adjust the direction individually. Say for example, if we go and you see this, we have a, this is a y speed, it's at 0. You can see this y speed, set this x speed, you can set this 0. I can even give minus. Okay, so that's minus 0.05. Okay, fine. Next, I'm going to do the same setup for the normal B. For example, consider this is a normal B. Okay. So first, everything I want to put it in a parameter groups so that I can organize this all. Okay. Select all these parameters which I have created. Even this texture sample also you can able to convert into parameter later on. If you want to change the normal map, you can change this normal. Okay, select this all and see. Let's right click, convert to parameter, keep it normal A. Okay, now select this all the parameters. Okay, so I think good. Okay, sorry, going to give name normal A. This is 04, I think 05 normally. Select this normal. I'm going to set up the group normal A. Okay, so then I save this and I just wanted to show you how this is going to look on the metal instance. So open up this. See this normally? You can enable this, you can change this if you want. Actually, it's supposed to be 4. Huh? Okay, no problem. I can select this all. Solid 4. Select it. 4. Okay. Next, I can duplicate this all the thing except this. Okay, Control D. Control D can duplicate this. Connect. Now I have to rename this all. F2. Call this B. Okay, all right. You can see I have renamed all the attributes. I'm going to select this all the thing. I want to put this normal save as I have to create a new group. Control 05 underscore normal B. Select this. That's it. Now I have to combine this two normal maps as a one single. I have to connect here. There is a node to combine two normal maps. So you can right click, search, blend, angle. corrected normals, blend angle corrected normals. So you can combine two normal maps. This is going to be the base. This is additional. The end result is going to be the norm. Now you can see here we have combined the both num maps. Okay. Now you can see normal A, normal B. So I'm going to enable this normal B tiling. I'm going to increase it. I will reduce this intensity. Okay, can increase a little bit more. Then I'm going to adjust the Y speed 0.1, 0.02. Now you can see the water, both normal maps are going in a different direction. That's giving the illusion like creating a ripples and waves. So I will increase the intensity of this one a little bit. Okay, I'll make this 0.01 on this direction, minus 0.02. Going to enable this X speed, minus 0.05. Okay, all right. So you can able to edit them if you want. You can see here the water. You see this water creating some nice ripple effect. Okay, fine. Next, I'm going to create waves on the edge, ripples on the edges. Okay, I want to create ripples on the edge. So for that, and that ripples also, I'm going to create using in the normal map itself. So before that, I have to organize this properly. So select them all. You can create a separate comment for this normal A. So to create waves in the edges, so there is a node called nearest surface. If you right click, search distance to nearest surface node. This will calculate any object to nearby this material it will affect. Okay, so I'm going to create a divide node. So I'm going to make a fade. Okay, divide and right click, promote to parameter. So this is going to be the distance ripple wave or wave, I can call it wave. Let me show you this with the different material. Create a new material, m underscore. Going to paste it. So distance to near surface, distance to wave, and I have a divide. And this I'm going to connect between, hold L. I can directly connect this. Okay, you see this, but we have this. Okay, so let's create a plane. Let's create another sphere. Okay. Now right click, create metal instance, apply this. And you see this is detecting this sphere if I move, and you see the black color. So that's interesting. If I open up the instance, and you can see the wave distance, so that will increase the distance. Okay, it's not right. So I have, it's a very minute one. So you can see this is, if I move, it creates a small uh, the different color here. Okay, so that's what we are going to use for the water material. So then I'm going to invert this. Okay, invert is like I can use a 1 minus. You can right click, search 1 minus, or you can use O on the keyboard and left click. You can invert them. So connect this. Invert will make a opposite, white, black, black, white, thing like that. Because I wanted to, this I'm going to connect with the normal map. So it has to go in an invert mode. Then to clamp this, if you want to make, it should not go too much value more than 1, or it should not go minus. So for that reason, I'm going to create saturate, or you can use clamp also, it's fine. Saturate, saturate is a very simple node which will clamp uh, the value from 0 to 1, right? Whatever value you are giving. Okay. So then for the ripple, I have to create animation. Okay. I have to create animation. The waves will go from here and it goes on the edge. So let's close this. Here, I want to use sine. Sine will animate. See, create a sine node. Sine node needs to have time. So right click and search time. This will work with the time, because we have to define how long it is going to happen. Okay, so both we need to add. Okay, both we need to add. But when you add also, if I add this too, and the speed we have to control. See, if I right click, start previewing this node, and you see the animation is happening. If I enable this, you see the animation is happening. But this is how we're going to make a, see, if consider this white color as some object nearby this, the white color appears. You see this is happening. If you want to control the speed of this pulse, I want to create a, you can adjust here, but I want to create a parameter. So hold M and click, left click, like we used to do. The B, I'm going to right click, promote to parameter. So this is going to be speed, ripple speed. Okay. Now if I increase this, say it is, it will increase the speed and reduce the speed. I leave this one for default. So before that, I wanted to increase the number of ripples. Say for example, if you want to connect this into normal, so what you have to do, normal map works in red, green, blue, right? It will mostly get the light information from red and green. Okay, so any RGB, if you are connecting into the normal, the blue has to be 1. It should not be changed. Okay, for that reason, this is giving output of a RGB. I want to remove the blue. I want to take only red and green. Only red and green. So I have to mask the vectors. So left click and drag the output, search mask, component mask, which already it is RG, only the red and green is enabled. So this is having the output of only red and green. I want to set the blue should be 1. So if you hold 1 and left click, it creates a constant node. Give a value 1. Consider this is a blue and this is red green. So we have to combine all RGB as a one 3 vector. So we're going to append this both. Append vector. A is going to be red and green. The B is going to be blue, which is 1. So this we are going to again use angle corrected normal. So I can duplicate this, Control D. This output goes to this base and this goes to the connect. I'll stop this. I click stop and save. And you see something is happening. Okay. Let's open up the parameter. And here is the distance and the ripple speed. So increase it. It is happening a little bit closer. But I'm not able to control this anyway, but it's happening. So to fix this, what we did in this actually, I have to add this from this, and I want to connect multiply again, one more multiply before sign that is going to define how many ripples are going to happen. Okay, so let's disconnect this and this also. So what I will do, we're going to connect this to here and multiply, and this multiply is going to make how many, the whole thing is going to multiply by this B. So promote parameter number of ripples. This is going to decide how many numbers. I'm going to leave this value default 1 and take this and connect it to the sign. Okay, so one last thing I want to do, we want to multiply saturate and whole thing I want to add. See, directly I'll take from the saturate and the sign I'm going to connect it here, and I'll take this into the mask. Now save this and check it out. What'll happen? Okay, we don't see anything right now. I'm going to adjust the number of ripples. I'm going to increase it. I'm going to increase the distance. Actually, nothing is happening. Yeah, now I can see here. I have to give more distance. So you can see the ripple is happening here. I'm going to reduce the speed. Okay. If I increase the number of ripples, get more ripples are happening. Okay. So, but I wanted to make this thing little bit fade out, and I have to control the height, normal height of this one. Okay. So I'm going to set up that. So here, before going into the mass, I want to fade out. The ripple has to nicely fade out from the center to outside. So use divide. Right. Okay. Divide will smooth. So right click on the B, promote parameter, will fade. Okay. And take this. You can see this now. Now if you go to the fade, I'll increase the fade. See how nicely it is fading. I can increase the number of ripples, reduce the speed. I can give minus value if I want. Minus value will go this direction. You see this? Get a really nice ripples are happening. I'm going to reduce the fade. Okay. So the good thing about this is like if you drop some object, have some staticness. I'll drop this. You see already having the ripple is happening. So any object you can drop. Instantly it will create ripples. I will reduce the distance. Okay. So you can check it out. Now we have beautiful waves and ripples happening, and it is interactive. You can add any objects inside the water and that will interact. Right. So next I'm going to make a little bit index of refraction. I want to enable the refraction. Now check out the material. Here the refraction is disabled, which means we have to enable the refraction. In the material, you have to select the water material, search refraction. Okay, it's in the lost, and you can see the refraction method, it's none. So we can set up this index of refraction. There is a 3 methods are available. So this you can input the value. So right click, promote to parameter. Okay, going to give the default value 1, and I want to put this parameter into the group PBR. Okay, I check PBR. I will leave the 606. Okay, I want to create a separate group for this all, and I want to have one more before going into this. Okay, I want to set this normal strength also. Control D, select this normal strength. Control D, connect, and right click, promote to parameter. B, okay. So I can duplicate this. Control D, any one of this parameter I can duplicate. I rename this uh, ripple normal intensity. Connect this into this. Take this output and connect into the additional. So let's put them on in a straight line. Just organize them. Let's comment this. Let's give a name. Give color. Okay. Fine. Save. Actually, I have to select all the parameters. I will create a name. 07 underscore ripples. Save. Now, if I open up this, we have a separate. If I increase the normal intensity, you can see I can reduce it. If I want to make a little bit of ripples, I can adjust. So it's nice. Okay, now I'm going to create a waterfalls over here using landscape splines. Select the landscape, go to landscape. I'm going to create a new layer by right click and create, and rename this F2, or right click and rename. Waterfalls. So right click on the layer, reserve for splines, say yes. Now go to manage, select spline. So I'm going to create a spline from this, from here. Hold control and click, control and click, control and click. Now you can see we have created this spline, but I don't want this spline should affect the landscape. So I have to select, hold shift and select this two segments by selecting in between the points. You can select the segments and go to details. There is landscape deformation. I'm going to switch off this raise terrain. Now this is, it is individual. If you go to wireframe, Alt 2 and select the point, you can move. I can rotate this. I have to enable this local space. Alt 4 split mode. You can see I'm going to move. I have to rotate this. Switch off the angle snap. Alt 2. Going to move. Okay, you can see this spline which I have created. Take this little bit. Now I'm going to create fake waterfalls, which means I'm going to create waterfalls using a material itself. So first, I'm going to create a modeling tool. Go to modeling, create a box. I'm going to set this box to 300, 300. I'll set this to 5 or 2. Height, hit accept. And you can see here, for this box, I'm going to apply a material. To waterfalls material, you can go to Google. So you can search in a Google waterfalls texture and you find out this one is interesting. So I'm going to save this. Okay, I have opened this texture in Photoshop. So first I'm going to Control J, duplicate this layer, and I will delete this. Alt double click and delete this layer. And I'm going to remove this black area. I want to have only this white color area. So go to select, color range, pick the color you want. I want to select the white area, increase the fuzziness to 200 and hit OK. And invert select and delete. Shift Control I, or you can go to select inverts, delete the area which you don't want. You can see this. I have deleted the most of the black areas. I want to remove the corners. Corners also have to remove. You can do it. You can go to filter, go to other offset. You can adjust the horizontal. Okay, about here. So I just offset it a little bit. I actually go to filter, other offset. I don't want to offset vertically, 0. I set the horizontal 308 minus, and I'll erase with the smooth brush. Scale up. The corners I want to remove. Then I'm going to save as PNG, waterfalls texture. Save it. I'm going to import this into Unreal. Right click, import. Open this. Now we have opened this texture. So right click on the texture, create material. We give a name, m underscore waterfalls. material. Enter to open. Very first, I'm going to change this material blend mode to additive. Additive. And I can directly connect this alpha into opacity, but I want to control the opacity. So I'm going to create a depth fad. Depth fad will calculate the nearby object distance. According to that, it creates the transparency. So I'm going to multiply with alpha. This goes here. Connect this into opacity. Now I'm going to create a parameter for opacity. Right click, promote to parameter. Right click. Okay. This is the material I'm going to use for the cube. Okay. So before that, I want to create a material instance. Right click, create a material instance, and open up this editor. Control E, or you can right click and edit. Apply this instance to the. So right now, save it. You see this. Control B, and you can check. This is a mess we have created. Actually, I want to rename this F2 is some underscore. I'll put this inside our folder. Just click and drag and drop into the folder. Move. And here we have. Next, I'm going to open the material instance, this waterfall material instance. And I'm going to increase the opacity. Now you start seeing this texture. Because I created this depth pad, which means if I rotate this to 90-degree, select angle snap and rotate 90-degree. If I move this down nearby the ground, if I increase the depth pad, and you see the fade is happening smoothly. So that's the reason I created this depth pad. I like this, and I'm going to assign this static mesh to this spline. Okay, so go to landscape, click on the, make sure you're in the manage and select the spline, select segments, and there is a option landscape spline meshes. Click plus sign, open this, and I'll connect this waterfalls to this. Now the first thing is we are having the issue that is oriented in a different direction, that you can fix it by the forward axis. Select this into Y. Now you see this, but we need to animate this. We have two issues. One is this is not animated, and second, you see the spline does not have smoothness. That's because this mesh we have created does not have much divisions, subdivisions. So we have to add a subdivision horizontally. So you can do it. Go to modeling, go to model, poly group edit, choose the inside edge loop. I'm going to add a loop. I'm going to select proportion position method to even. give 4. I want to give 4 on the other side also. If I hit accept, now you can see that the spline comes really smooth. I like it. Now I want to animate this texture. It's very simple. You can go to the waterfalls material. I can use panner. Okay, and connect this into UV. Actually, we want to animate in y-axis. Let's say 0.1. Save it. It's going in opposite direction. I want to set -1. So instead of giving the value here and adjusting, I'm going to create a parameter for this. We have already created this water material and we made this, right? The same thing I can copy. Now we have this tile is 4. I'm going to leave it 1. Uh, the y speed -1. And you can see this started falling -0.5 maybe. Now I can adjust this fade distance, radius of fade distance. I can increase opacity to make more brighter. Okay, it looks okay. I want to have little more splines, overlapping splines, so I get more waterfalls. So to do this, go to landscape, select the first point which we have created, and control and click here. And you see this, I have created another point. See, the another point, it's here. You see this? It's here. I have to switch off the lower terrain also. Switch off this, and you can see this one. I'm going to rotate this. I have to have another point. If you go to wireframe, you can see here. Select this segment, control and click on the center. It will create another point so that I can extend this. Just want to move. And you notice this water going in a reverse direction. That's because we can select them. We select the segment, the whole discipline, select this both. There is a flip selected segment. If I flip it, and you can see we have this. So I'm going to move little bit, and you can see this. I can reposition this if I want. I can, if I move down little bit, you see that depending upon the size, it will change the size as well, and it will adjust the speed also. Going to select this point. If I move this point, see this flow, going that direction. So if I select this point, I can reduce the side fall of half width. You can select this point and reduce the half width, and you can see this is I can select this point, 500. It's spreading when it's comes down. Now go back, press G on the keyboard to check game mode. Now I can open up the material. Okay, so I'm going to increase and reduce the settings, and I want to increase opacity. When you increase opacity, you see this, the sides will be, when I increase this fall distance, that will fade out if there is any nearby object, that will fade out. It is also depending upon the distance, the transparency will happen on this waterfall. So you can add even multiple, one more spline from there. Press G, you can see the spline. If you can go to the landscape again, go to spline, I can click on this point, control and click, control and click. See, I have created another uh, segments. Select this segments, see, and I'm going to flip that. I'm going to switch off this. Okay, I can switch off the terrain. I'm going to move this point outshore. You see this. I can Alt 2 wireframe, and there is a point. Can adjust the positions. Rotate this. So I'm going to switch up the angle snap, and I will rotate this. I can increase the half width for this, 2000 for example. It will spread the water flow like this, but I don't want that. I'm going to make 800. Fine. I'm going to move this point a little bit closer, and you can see in the center we have a more dense water than the outside. Going to select this point. See, if sometimes if you are not able to select this point here, you can go to settings. There is an option, allow translucent selection off. So now that will not select whatever the translucency material objects, that will be ignored. Okay. Now I go back to selection, and you can see here, press G on the keyboard, you can see we have created this fake waterfalls, and still you can able to create some more in this side with a different direction. And one more thing is, if you want to spread this, if I go to landscape, press G, you can see the point here. Alt 4 is a light mode. 5. You can alt and click, duplicate this. I can move this slightly up. So rotate slightly. Now see, it is spreading out here. I'm going to increase this half width to 1500. Okay, you can see it is looking like spreading water once it falls. And I can select this point again, control and click this direction. I'm going to increase half width. Okay, press G on the keyboard. You can see that we have some water splashes happening. You can create a particle system to create mist on the falls. There is a project in became launcher. There is a sample project, particle effects. So in that project, have some particle. You can download. It is free. So let's go to new level on this project. You have to create a project and you can access this all the assets. And here there is a FX particle system. There is a water. So you have some few particle systems is available. Waterfalls also available. But what I need is this mist effect. See here. Um, there is a mist collide. You can use that also. There is a one particle which is in the snow, blowing mist. Okay, I can use this particle uh, to make. Okay, let's explore this. Okay, I will use this blow details. So right click, asset accents, migrate. I don't want to save. I hit OK. So this will, so I have to put them into our project. I have already. So you go to the, so you get the effects folder here. In the effects folder, you get this particle, and I'm going to drop this. Just if on the keyboard, you can see there is, you have to rotate this. You can see I can increase the size. not right, but this project I'm creating this, I can press Alt and duplicate this. Okay, place it here so that looks like some water splash is happening. There are other particle system, this mist collide. You can use this one, but doesn't look good when I overlap with this. It's okay, but still you can use this if you want. I can increase the size of this. If you want, you can use, but it is not visible. Okay, so I'm going to delete this. I don't want. And yeah, this one also, waterfalls, you can use. Okay, I'll leave this. I think it is fine for me. Next, I'm going to set up the light. Control L, move the light direction. Hold the Control L and move to keep it. And select the X sky atmosphere. I'm going to increase this MIE absorption scale a little bit. It looks like some cloudy scene. And I can adjust this also. If you are making a rainy type, you can increase it, but I'm going to reduce this to 0. Almost. Now you see this snow, so this mist is really too much. Actually, I can select this, overlap, then I can reduce or increase the size. You can modify that. See this, you can scale it. Scale it. Okay. Next, I'm going to add some more objects. Go to Megascale. I have downloaded these assets from Pixel Bridge. So let's say this. I can scale it. I'm going to rotate this. Keep that things like it is overlapping. I'm aligning with this. So duplicate. I'll enable this local rotation. Okay, you can see that I have added some few rocks uh, in this scene. I'm going to place some trees also. So there is a European home beam that is also available for free. Madagascar trees, you can use them. Let's click this. Oh, click and drag and drop inside. Then I'm going to use foliage. I'll drop the some of this tree. This, drop it, select and reduce the density to 5, and I'll switch off this align to normal. I paint. I have to increase the size of the tree, just very small. So I'm going to increase this scale x maximum 10. So that is too much. 3. Reduce the density to 1. I'm going to enable this align to normal, which means if I click over here, you see this will create some trees from the direction of the surface. Okay, so now we are going to create a procedural foliage system to fill the same with trees and small plants. So let's create a new level. Save it. I'm going to delete the floor. So to explain, I'm going to create landscape. Sculpt. Okay, I have this basic landscape. To create a procedural foliage system, so first you have to go to edit, editor preferences. In the editor preference, there is a category experimental. In this experimental, there is a procedural foliage, which you have to enable this first, then close it. Now, once you enable that, I'm going to create a new folder. So right click and go to foliage. Then you have this option, procedural foliage spawner, and you have this static mesh foliage. So foliage spawner, giving a name pfs underscore, call it forest. Okay, this forest, right, double click to open, and you have the option. So use foliage types. Foliage types we have to create manually. If you click plus, and you can able to create a foliage type. If you click on the none, there are some few foliages are already available, which is comes with the landscape material. But I'm going to create my own foliage type. So to create a foliage type, right click, foliage, create a static mesh foliage actor. Okay, I'm going to give a name SMF. For example, we'll create tree. I open up this so you can see the options here. Have a lot of options, which is similar to foliage paint option. What do you have? So here I need to connect to this. So European on beam, and there are a lot of trees available. So enable the filter. I'm going to use this one and this one. Click and drag and drop into this and save it. So I'm not going to change any settings here. Just I'm going to leave it as default. Now we have this foliage. Go to procedural. I'm going to open this forest spawner. Just double click and open this spawner. Then in this foliage type, we'll assign this to this. Now once you have assigned it, we have to spawn this forest on the level. For that, you have to create a foliage. So volume actually, procedural type, procedural foliage volume. Okay, so this will allow you to create foliages inside this volume. Okay, you can see this is very small. So I'm going to increase the scale. You can see here. So with this volume selector, scroll down. There is a foliage spawn. Here we have to connect this forest and click on this arrow. Then you have to click resimulate. Otherwise, this will not work. So I'm going to click on the resimulate. Now we can see we have generated this foliage with randomized size and random rotation. The good thing about this is like you can position anywhere and re-simulate it, and you see the foliage is generated according to the landscape. But for some reason I need to generate this foliage vertically. I don't want to align with the surface normal. To do this, you can open up this tree static mesh foliage, double click to open, and there is an option align to normal, which you have to switch off and save this. Now with this procedural foliage volume selector, will resimulate, and now you can see the foliage is generated straight vertically. Then you can see the foliage is revealing this bottom, so I have to move this down a little bit. So to do this, there is a Z offset, minimum and maximum. So I'm going to set this to -20. Let's see, save this. And now you can see it's going inside. Maybe -30 will work for this. Simulate. Okay. So later on, I'm going to create some grasses, some other plants, so that will not be visible clearly. And the good thing is you can able to scale this proportionally or non-proportionally. For example, I want to have size. I'm going to increase in it. Y-axis, you can increase it. Then every time if you modify, you have to resimulate, and that will generate the foliage. Now you can see the foliage. It looks very dense forest. Okay. uh, but I wanted to generate grass inside this foliage volume. I'm going to increase the X value about 40. We simulate this. Now, okay, see here. Let's move a little bit over here for explanation purpose. I am just place this procedural volume in this area. Now I'm going to create another static mesh foliage actor, which is going to be, I'm going to create a grass. So to do this, I'm going to duplicate this, Control D, and going to give a name, grass. So let's open up this, double click and open. I'm going to replace with the grass. So you can go to Megascans. There is a 3D plants, and there we have the grass clumps. Okay, so I'm going to take any one of this, drag and drop, and replace this, and save it. Now I have to assign this grass into spawner inside this forest. Just double click to open. I have to make another type of foliage. Then take this grass and connect it to this. Save it. Now select the procedural volume, resimulate. Now you notice this, this have a little bit, there are some few grasses be generated, which is not visible now. Okay, I just want to check once. Double click. Okay. Now this grass does not have. I don't know, delete panira. Okay. Now you can see there is no grass. Is not clearly visible. That's because of I have to adjust the Z in the grass. You see this. I'm going to reset this and save it. Now resimulate, because it is inside the landscape. That's the reason. And another thing is, you see this is generated vertically, so I don't want to generate this vertically. I'm going to enable this align to normal. Save it. Now resimulate. Now you see this is aligned with the normal of the landscape. But you notice these grasses are very less. So I have to increase the number of grass. So if you open up the grass, we don't have the directly control the density of this. So this is happening, the density is happening according to the collision. If you open up the collision, and you notice this collision radius, which is 100 centimeters each of the grass. So let's make this 10, both shade radius and collision. Just resimulate. Now you notice this, we have more trees, as well as we have a little bit more grass. Okay, to increase the density of the grass, you have to adjust the clustering. So I'm going to increase the number of steps to 4 and save. And I'm going to increase the initial shade density to save. Resimulate. Now you can see we have more grass or populated. Okay, now you can see we have a lot of grasses happening, but still if you want to increase, you can increase the seed density so you get more. Maybe I will reduce the radius to 1. Increase this to 3. So be careful, do not increase too much. Now you can see we have a lots and lots of grasses populated. But you notice this, every tree, it is having the gap in the bottom of the tree. That's because this tree will not allow you to generate the foliage system in the shading area, which means you have to adjust in the tree itself. So if I go to the tree, then you have the option, the shade radius and collision radius. So if I reduce the shade radius to save it, and I have to reduce the collision radius also, but I'm going to resimulate this. Now you see this, we don't have much trees. Okay, we don't have much trees. It's because this generating all the grasses everywhere, it is occupying more space than the tree. Okay, so let's make this 50. Save, and I have to reduce this collision radius also. So this will increase the density of the tree. Now you see this, we have a more dense tree, and you see the grasses populated underneath the tree as well. Okay, this is really nice. We have some flickering issues that we can fix it. And you see this grasses are created in the way it is created is kind of a cluster or clumps of grasses happening in a random pattern. So that you can fix it by increasing this in the clustering. Go to the clustering, grass. Okay, go to grass. You go to clustering. There is an option distribution. I think spread variance. Sorry, spread variance. I'm going to make 200. So it will not generate the grass in a cluster base. Just if you spread this, the grass will spread all over the place and evenly it will distribute. You notice this in the slope, it is not generating the grass because in real it's not going to happen. In especially the slopes, I can show you in the other side. You see this area have a lot of slope. The slope areas that will not generate the grass, which is nice actually. And that is also you can able to control. If you go to the grass, there is a ground slope angle. So if I increase this to 80, for example, so this will generate foliages on the slopes as well. You can see. So you can able to control the slope. So I'm going to save this 30 and resimulate this. Now you can see here, so we have avoided mostly on the slopes area. We don't have much Now you can see we don't have much grasses on the slope, but I want to make about 50 or 60. Save, resimulate, and you can see this almost everywhere it generating the grass. I guess the 45 45 is good. Simulate. Okay, so that's nice. Now, if you want to generate some other static mesh foliages, it's very simple. You can duplicate this grass. For example, I want to make a flowers. Control D. Flowers. Let's open up. So I think in Megascans, check out this. I'm going to download a plant from Pixel Mixer, Pixel Bridge, sorry. So there I have already some few plants I have downloaded. If you want, you can download 3D plants. Okay, once you open this bridge and there is a category 3D plants, you can go to flooring plants. There you can download this some of these plants. So I'm going to download this field copy. I have already downloaded it. I'm going to click this blue. Now I can see here. I'm going to drop this instead of the grass and I connect this flower, save it. Then I have to connect this into the spawner, procedural spawner. So go to my folder, open up this forest, create another foliage type, take this, connect into the, save it. Now this. Then select the foliage system and resimulate this. Okay, you can see you have a lot of flowers because we have duplicated from grass, right? So I have to reduce the, go to flowers. I have to reduce the density that. So it's very simple. You can go to the clustering, but reduce this to 3, make this to 1, and yeah, go save this, resimulate. You can see here we have some few flowers distributed, looking nice. And I'm going to increase this initial density. I'm going to increase the spread variance to 600. I want to spread this all over the place, so I have increased the spread variance. Now I can see here it's nice, looking good. And I want to add some rocks. So I have to create another foliage type. So I'm going to duplicate this flower. So Control D. I'm going to rename this into rocks. And let's open up this. I have to replace with some rocks. So I have already downloaded from the Megascan. So you go to 3D assets, Mesh. So I'm going to use this rock, which you can find in Pixel Bridge. So drag and drop. So before uh, simulating this, I have to reduce the initial density, then 300, and I wanted to make this 2. Save it and check out. I have to adjust the. Oh, I have to connect this rock into the foliage spawner before simulating this. Open this foliage tank, click, select this rock and drag and drop into this, save it, simulate. Now you can see we have lots of rocks generated in all over the place, but it doesn't look good. So I have to reduce the number of the rocks. So open this. Still, I have to reduce to 1, 600, spread. I'm going to increase the collision radius 100, state radius 100. Okay, that's perfect. And you see the rocks are generated randomly in a different position. And if you want to increase the number, you can increase the steps too. Going to save this level. Okay, it's very important to save. Fine. Go to procedural volume. I'm going to resimulate this. Now we have a lot of rocks in a different position, different location, and different orientation. And still, I can able to change the size or to make it randomly. So I can scroll down. Go to growth, and there is a procedural scale. So I'm going to reduce to 0.5, 2. Simulate. That will generate randomly with a different size. Now you can see here. Looking good. Still, I'm going to increase a little bit. Pretty good. Nice. I like it. This I can use it for our project, which means this procedural foliage system can be used in different levels. Like if I go to this or level here, so here I have to create a procedural foliage volume. So you can click on the plus, and you can go to the all classes you can find in procedural foliage volume, or you can search. So reset the position first. I'm going to increase the scale 1000, and you see that's too much. 500, 100, yeah. You can scale non-proportionally. So I can switch off this. I want to scale 120, 130. Okay. Now I have created this volume. So only I have to select the forest spawner, connect with this foliage volume, scroll down, procedural foliage, assign this, resimulate. That's all. That will generate the same foliage system inside this level. Now I can see have this all the foliages generated here. You see we don't see the forest, and you see this generated on the rocks also. You see the water. So this foliage generator all over the place, in even inside the water also it is generated. Okay, so I have to remove the areas which I don't want this to be generated. So there is a volume. We can go to volume, go to all classes, and scroll down, and there is a procedural foliage blacking volume. If I click and drag, and again, so wherever you have this volume, okay, so that area, the procedural foliage system will not be generated. Now I'm going to make 50. So you have to create this volume and select the procedural foliage volume and resimulate this. So this blacking volume will remove all the foliages inside the blacking volume. You can see this this has been removed, but you can see here have the procedural foliage has been generated, and it is it is removed on this area. Okay, but you notice this, the blacking volume, it comes only with the square cubical volume, but I want to restrict only the area, this area actually. It should not do you see the volume, it's abruptly cut the foliage system, something like this. You see that? That is not right. So I'm going to customize this. You see this? Good, it's happening like this. I have to customize this. To do this, we don't have any other option for the blacking volume. It is only a cubic. But if you wanted to make customize the shape, so what do you have to do? First, I'm going to hide all the procedural volumes. Sorry, I'm going to hide all foliage system. So you can go to show and go to advanced. You're going to switch off the foliage so I can hide everything, all the foliage system. And I'm going to create a box, some geometry, and after that I'm going to convert them into volume. So to create a blocking volume, customized blocking volume, so I will go to modeling mode, create a cylinder with setting 5000, height 3000. Let's see this. I'm creating the cylinder, maybe 2000, fine. So I'm creating the cylinder and I'm going to change the polygroup mode per face. Instead of per face, I'm going to set this per quad. Accept this. Then go to model polygroup edit. So I can able to select the face. You see this? I can select the face. I can move. I can perfectly. I can select the edge. I can move. I'm trying to match perfectly. Suppose if you want to select only edge, you can switch off this phase and vertex. So I can select only the edge. So that will filter only edge. Okay, I have created this blacking volume, something like it is. I am, have already tried to match with this. Even if you wanted to edit this little bit, I want to keep it here. So I'm just overlapping with the things like this. So once I created this geometry, then I'm going to convert this into foliage blacking volume. So you can duplicate this actually. So suppose you see this control B, you see this is I have created this. I can duplicate this because I can use later if I want. Okay, so the selected, go to X form. There is an option convert, convert, output type. Here is the really important thing, output type to volume. Then you get what kind of volume you want to choose. So I'm going to choose procedural foliage blacking volume. Accept that. Okay, we press G on the keyboard if you're not able to see. And you see this volume we have created. This is a procedural blacking volume. I'm going to delete the, the box volume which I have created. Just delete this. Now, if you select the procedural volume, I'm going to resimulate this. Okay. Now, this will generate foliage everywhere except the water area. Okay, now you can see this is nice. And you notice this. We have some foliage because this volume, it is the height is small. See, if I move this down, even if I move this down, and you get more over here. So select the procedural volume, resimulate. Nice. You can see, let's save this everything. You can see this, there are some trees on the rock. Okay, it's looking good. And you notice this, if I go closer to this, there are some few foliages or generated on the top of this. That's nice. I like it. Press G. G is a game mode, and then go to show, advanced, go ahead, enable foliage. Start seeing this all the foliage system. You can see here we have a nice foliage forest. Zoom out. Also, you can see a lot of trees, foliage. You can animate the camera. You can change the light direction. You can set up the light different direction. Control L and check out this.
So go to exponential height mode, increase this scattering distribution. You get this nice light shaft happening from this side. Okay, guys, that's all. Thank you so much. Bye bye.